guys, welcome back to my channel. If you've just come across my video for the first time, lovely to have you here. My name is Hazel from the channel 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞. I'm going to be talking about a little bit of a controversial subject: authentic luxury goods, fake luxury goods, replica luxury goods. Now, with the exception of the last 2 years in the luxury world, people would say, oh, you know, I've got to buy the latest Chanel bag, I've got to buy the latest Louis Vuitton release, because the craftsmanship, the leather skills that their workers use, the collaboration that such and such is working with right now, the history of the brand, made in Europe, made in France, Italy, made in Spain. You know, we've heard all of this. We've heard about going into store, having a VIP treatment and having champagne and nibbles and getting a little Christmas present and then having a relationship with a sales associate. Now that's lovely. And many people out there have still got that relationship for that to happen. However, with luxury and authentic things, what I've heard recently, as you probably have heard recently, is number one, customer services hasn't been too great. Number two, the products, the quality control hasn't been very good. There's been pop stitches. There has been glazing issues on some products. I'm not mentioning any brand names actually in this part of the video. There has been indentation of the leather, or the leather started to crack. So there's been many quality control issues with certain brand names on certain products over the last few years. And then also going into store, there's been a little bit of, they look you up and down and give you a bit of a sniff, and then they don't really greet you nicely. So I mean, we've all heard about people having different situations on how they're treated in store. Fakes. I've got my iPad here. So a fake item that is pretending to be a luxury item, that is someone who is made something from a factory which working conditions are unknown, pay is unknown, this, that and the other. But they are making fake goods without the permission of the luxury house. And if you buy a fake item and you know it's a fake item and you're paying a fake item price and you want to wear that fake item because you don't have the budget for a luxury brand new in store item, that's absolutely fine. I don't mind that. It's when someone's deceiving other people and they're lying, telling you that this item is legitimately a real item from store, give me £1,000 please. No, that's not on. So that is where I don't agree with fakes. If you remember about the Christian Dior scandal last year, said about bad working conditions in this little town in Italy where they were making Christian Dior tote bags which cost £56, and they were selling it for £1,600. And they were sleeping on the premises, smoking, eating, drinking. There was just, you know, it's all happening from their factory. It was actually all Chinese workforce. Now, to me, straight away, I'm like, okay, well, obviously we have EU rules on things like that and conditions, working conditions, which is why it got flagged. It's just why there was a whistleblower. And rightfully so. Nobody should be working in conditions that are disgusting, that are unfair, that are inhumane. No one, under any circumstances, in any walk of life. So, you know, rightfully so, it's been investigated just to get to the bottom of it, to see what was going on. That's all fine and dandy. And it was a legitimate brand. It was Christian Dior. It was an authentic product made by a Chinese workforce, okay? So then when you talk about the fake side of things, fake handbags, that's more deceiving because in my understanding, they are made in probably a Chinese factory by people who pump it out really, really, really fast. The third subject matter I'm going to be talking about is replicas. Now, replicas are similar but different to fakes. Yes, they are both counterfeit. Yes, they are both questionable as to the work ethics, the workforce behind in the factories. But then again, the authentic companies as well, such as the 𝐼hristian Dior in the factory in Italy that happened recently, that was questionable as well. So a replica bag, I'm just gonna refer to my notes for a minute. So you get replica 1-on-1 AAA grade, and that is when it's the highest level of replicas. They are generally made in factories that specialize in making a certain handbag. They use the right products, they use the right leathers. So if such and such is made in a Napa leather, they will also use a Napa leather. They will use the right canvas, they will use the right screen printing. They've got the skill set. You don't buy a replica because you're trying to sell it to make profit. You buy a replica because it's a replica. You can't maybe justify spending £7,000 on a handbag, but you can buy a replica because it's the same material, that the stitching's good, that the leather is really good quality, that like for like it looks really, really good. Now, the TikTok things that were said recently, okay? Now, I do believe there is a little bit of a, oh, come and buy from my factory in China. We sell Hermès, we sell Chanel's, all the rest of it. Because, you know, there is an element of, well, if Chanel had outsourced to a Chinese factory, they would have probably signed an NDA, okay? So they wouldn't have shot themselves in the foot by disclosing that they work with Chanel or Hermès or whoever. However, if a factory no longer works for that fashion house, or they have a bad relationship with that luxury house now, or there was some sort of break in the contract, they could quite easily say what they want to say and have the information to make such and such bags. Because if they did once upon a time make those products, they would have the information. They would know the sizes, dimensions, they would know what quality of leather, they would know about the brass of the hardware, they would know, they would have the information, they would have the skill set. Now I've found out about the Chinese workforce in that little town in Italy doing the 𝐼hristian Dior authentic work. What's the difference between a Chinese person doing it in a Chinese factory in China to a Chinese person doing it with a Chinese workforce in Italy? They're still making the luxury brand. So maybe I'm gullible, but I've seen plenty of fakes. I've seen fakes, and I don't agree with fakes that are being sold to a consumer as the real thing. That's dishonest. The reason I'm talking about this is because somebody that I know bought a P9, okay? Now, P9s on LV are approximately, oh God, how much are they? £8,000, £8,500, £9,000. They are a big financial dent in your pocket. You know, it's a huge amount of money, okay? Now, I've heard how deliciously, you know, the leather is, all the rest of it. Now, they also say with the LV P9, it's also very supple. The leather is delightfully soft. Now, when my friend told me they bought a P9, I was like, but you're not into luxury. You don't buy P9s. Sorry, you don't buy P9s. You don't buy luxury. And I know how much P9s are. So I said, I want to see it. Please let me see it. So anyway, they showed me their bag, and I got out the Louis Vuitton website and I was looking at the bag, looking at the thinking, oh my God, like it's like beautiful. It's the craftsmanship's really good. It's flipping spot on, you know, the leather, the smell, the squishiness, the everything. It's amazing. It's a replica. It's a replica 𝐶𝐴, like, wow. Okay, when I saw this bag, oh golly, I cannot tell you how authentic this bag looks. Okay, I don't know anyone who has a P9 apart from my YouTube fellow peoples, and I don't know them in person to have a feel. It's really hard for me to tell you this, but for this bag to have cost £400 and the real one cost £8,500, there is no comparison. The item on the website at LV and the item that I saw in person for a replica handbag, I was shocked. Absolutely gobsmacked at the workmanship, the materials used, the quality, the fine details. The only thing this bag didn't come with was a box. It came with the clochette, it came with the keys, it came with the strap, it came with the protective bit that goes. It came with the inside cushion. Stunning. People are saying right now that luxury is dead, that luxury is lying to you, this, that, and the other. After seeing this bag, I can honestly tell you that there's something to this. There's something to the stories. I don't believe all of the people from TikTok saying the luxury brands, they all use our Chinese factories. I don't believe all of them. I do believe some of them do pump out fakes and the quality is not good and the workmanship's not good, and they pump it out so fast that there's lots of mistakes. However, after seeing the quality and the material and the workmanship of the replica bag from a Chinese factory, my goodness gracious, the quality is, I think, better than LV. I honestly think it's better than LV. And if I ever get to see Deb from Wild Unfiltered or Amelia from Amelia Rose, who else has got one? Oh my God. Meredith, but she's in Australia. Who else? Cassie in New York. Oh Lordy. If I ever get to see any of those ladies and they've got their bags, I'm going to bring this bag from my friend and we're going to compare. We have to compare because I want to know if I'm being delusional. Okay, anyone who knows me knows that I am never lost for words, okay? I am lost for words by the quality of this replica bag. I'm not even joking. But after what's been happening the last 18 months in, you know, China and Italy and with authentics and the TikTok and the tariffs and what everyone's saying, I think there's something to be said about what's happening out there. And I know many people in the fashion industry here in the UK through the job that I do, and they have always said to me that 75% of bags made by a luxury house are made in China or Asia somewhere, and it gets shipped over and it gets completed in Italy, or it gets completed in France, or it gets completed in Spain, because they finish up with the hardware or the zip. They finish up where they can put it all together, and then it's made in France, it's made in Spain. So I've always been told that anyway, and I've had no problem. Yes, I want people to be treated fairly. Yes, I would like workforces to have their set hours that they work, and they're treated fairly and they're treated well. Of course, that kind of goes without saying, but just in case someone's wondering. So I would love to hear your thought process on this whole thing. I mean, yes, me in my previous years, I don't like fakes. I don't like fakes. I don't like fakes because number one, they're fake. Number two, you don't know how the work's been made. Number three, they have probably been sold to someone as legitimate, and someone's probably had to spend more money than what the item actually is worth. However, when you buy a replica, you're buying a replica because it's a replica. You are not being sold something under false pretenses. You're getting the really good material, really good workmanship. Yes, it might have the branding of the legitimate company and they've not got permission to do that, but I just think there might be some truth in what's been said, you know, with all the TikTok. We all have heard about luxury, okay? We've actually all heard about fakes, okay? And the distrust with fakes and someone trying to benefit by lying to you about a product being real. That's what I don't agree with. However, I do agree with someone wanting to try a brand out in a sense of you haven't got the budget. You haven't got £2,000 for a handbag. So you buy a handbag at some market, wherever, and they've picked up a £100 fake handbag and they're trying out the brand as a fake. And if they like it and they wear it, they can save up and then buy the legitimate one from the luxury house in the future. I get that. Replica, I am pleasantly surprised by the experience that I had recently with my friend and what she got. It blew my mind. Have you compared the two, a replica and a fake? Because I'm seeing now that those two things are very different. Please do let me know in the comment box below. And what would be your opinion, especially with the recent information out there in regards to what happened at Christian Dior and the factory with the Chinese workforce compared to the Chinese workforce in China? Is there even a difference? This is the conversation that I wanted to have. And yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts on the matter. But please do like and subscribe. If I can get my friend's handbag off her, I may show it to you and show you the blooming bag, for goodness sakes. But yeah, I hope you're all well, and I hope you found this conversation interesting and thought-provoking. But I hope to see you again in my next video. All right, guys, take care. Bye.